It's the end of August and school goes back next week, which also means though you've potentially just come back from a summer holiday and not only are your task lists getting out of control, you've probably got close to 1,000 unread emails in your inbox. And if you use a messaging service like Slack, there's probably 100 unread messages in there as well. So what do you do to combat this stress after having 1 or 2 weeks off in the sun and then coming back and feeling like the holiday may not have been worth it? So I have 5 techniques that I'm going to go through today. Hi, my name's Alysha Randall and I am a fractional CFO, and I also train new and aspiring CFOs in this space. So if this is you, if you are, say, a qualified accountant, finance manager, financial controller, or you're brand new in a finance leadership role, such as head of finance, finance director, or CFO, then please subscribe, because this is what I talk about every single week: how to be a great leader within a startup or scale up. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to look at techniques to deal with the holiday blues, essentially, maybe not mentally, but certainly with your work and your task and prioritization. So the first thing is to prioritize and delegate where you can. So last week I went through the Eisenhower matrix, which I'll link above and below. And this is a really great matrix that you can use when you want to categorize the list of things that you need to get done. So ultimately, go through everything, write it all down, all the things that you need to do, and then categorize them in the Eisenhower matrix. And if you take a look at that video, you'll see quite clearly how you can give yourself some breathing space and focus on the right things. The next one is to break down complex tasks. So often when you come back, you may be facing loads of projects or tasks that really do need a lot of time and effort. I know for me personally, when I'm going through all of my inbox, you have those, you probably have 50% of them are just ones that you can delete because they're sales or they're newsletters that you just don't have capacity for. And then there are plenty of emails that just require 1 or 2 word responses and you can smash them out quite quickly. But then you'll probably get to these larger tasks that really need your focus, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere in September. It almost is like the beginning of a new year. Coming from the Southern Hemisphere, that feels quite weird because the calendar year is usually the beginning of the year. But essentially, I know I personally find this in June or July, when faced with big projects, you usually start planning them, but you schedule the bulk of the work to be after the summer period. So in July and August, a lot of people go on holidays. There's a lot of disruption. If you're putting together a project team, it's probably best to wait until September to do that. And so you may find that there's a lot of projects that are going to start, and it may feel overwhelming. So the best thing to do is, with these larger projects, really break them down into smaller and manageable subtasks. And this just really helps you not only track progress a bit easier, but also helps with your headspace so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. So if you have, say, 1 small task per week or per day, however big it is, for each of the larger projects, you can then tick them off your list, and there's a sense of accomplishment and you feel more motivated throughout the process and you don't feel as overwhelmed. So the next one is utilizing time management techniques. So as I mentioned last week, I went through the Eisenhower matrix. So that is one technique that you can use to help you with the large task list. There is one technique that I really like to use, particularly if I'm struggling to stay focused, and that is the Pomodoro technique. So I have gone through this technique before. Again, I'll leave links to that above and below. But I find when I come back from holidays, because there is so much to look at and there is such a backlog, and also you've just come back from holidays, to stay motivated or get focused is really difficult. And so that's why I find the Pomodoro technique to be quite useful. If you haven't heard of the Pomodoro technique before, it's basically choosing just one task, turning off Slack and email and your phone, and focusing on that one task for 25 minutes. Because 25 minutes isn't very long, it sounds manageable. And after that 25 minutes, you're encouraged to take a 5-minute break. So whether that's just standing up and stretching and spending 5 minutes on your emails, or having a walk and go and get yourself a coffee or what have you, and then doing another 25 minutes. This is, again, really helpful if you have large tasks or if you just have a big backlog to get through and you just want to dedicate 25 minutes solid to get through that backlog. It's a good way to encourage yourself to get focused. Again, I personally find it difficult to focus after a holiday, so the Pomodoro technique is amazing for me. So really try that out. And it's also amazing how much you get done in 25 minutes. It is amazing. Number 4 is avoiding overcommitment. So you've just returned from a holiday. You really need to take the time to assess the workload that you have realistically. And you also need to consider the resources you have, the deadlines that are coming up, and your priorities. So what I personally like to do is my out of office, I keep that on for my first day back. So my superior, my direct report, or in my current case, my clients, actually my clients don't know. So my team, my small team, know the date that I'm coming back from holidays, but everybody else doesn't. So you may even want to keep that quiet to everyone except for HR, for example. And the reason why I do that is because when everybody knows that you're back, you will start being bombarded again, either through Slack messages or people coming to your desk if you're in the office, or calls or messaging or emails or what have you. So if you have your out of office on just for that one more day, then you have that bandwidth to really just spend a whole day on emails and getting through that backlog. So I absolutely do this now. I absolutely tell everyone that I'm back online on Tuesday, and Monday I just spend the whole time going through my inbox, using the Eisenhower and Pomodoro technique if need be, categorize everything, and then I have a list of prioritized tasks for the rest of the week, the next couple of weeks. And if I have a heap of emails that I want to go out, I will schedule them for the end of the day. So generally, if you start emailing people, they will realize that you are online, and you may find that people will then start getting overexcited. So schedule them for 5 o'clock at the end of the day, get through all of your backlog, and then on Tuesday, you're ready to go. Number 5 is try to maintain a healthy work-life balance. I mean, it's easy to say work-life balance. It's such a cliche, but I will say that you go on holiday so that you can have a break and feel refreshed, get back on it, and come back with an open mind. If you come back to work and then just start panic and working 15-hour days so that you can get on top of everything, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And all of the work, essentially, so relaxation work, shall we say, or relaxation and mindfulness or what have you, that you did while you were on holidays, it's almost like a waste of time because you're just back to where you were. So I personally find, especially because I'm a founder myself, when I go on holidays, I really do log off. My team knows to WhatsApp me if there's anything urgent, and often there isn't, particularly in August in Europe because half of the country is on holidays. But I do find that if I do really log off, I start thinking of ideas, and usually I think of nothing for the first week. I just need some downtime. And then the second week, I really start thinking of ideas and things that I could do and ways I could do things better. And that's because I've given myself some space and I have headspace for ideas to come forth. If you come back from holidays and you just throw yourself into firefighting and tasks again and overwork, all of that creativity and space for planning and ideas is gone. And so all of that relaxation benefits is lost. So really try and maintain your task list in a really great way. Again, using the techniques that I've mentioned, schedule in breaks, set some boundaries, say no, and really allocate time for self-care and relaxation if you can. You know, working parents, it's not as it's easier said than done, but even just if you're working from home, go for a half-hour walk at lunchtime, leave your phone at home and just properly just allow yourself to have a refreshed mindset. So those are my 5 tips for managing the massive workload that you know you're going to get when you come back from holidays. I do like to talk about this a couple of times a year. So obviously in January and in August, it's really important that you look after yourself, but also, help with maintaining the finance function and assisting with business growth and risks as well. So hopefully those techniques are useful. As I said, if you are a new or aspiring leader in a startup or scale up, then please don't hesitate to subscribe. This is what I talk about every single week. I'll also leave below those couple of other videos, so the Eisenhower Matrix and the Pomodoro. And we also have a free leadership guide that you can download and read more about being a leader within this space. So hopefully you found that useful, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.